Hello again. I've decided to do another one of these dreadlock videos, just to show you what's been happening with my hair since I did the last one. I think the last video I did was probably about September 2013, and it's now coming towards the end of January 2014. I think the dreads started kind of forming. I had more underneath. They've been there longer, the ones underneath, but the ones on the top started to form dreadlocky bits in about last July. So you could say that these dreads started in July, I guess, you know, because that's the point where they started forming everywhere. So this is like, I suppose this can be like a 6 month, what happens at 6 months with my hair, because everybody's hair is different. Yeah, this is like what my hair looks like now. It looks pretty mad, actually. It's looks like very messy hair, very loopy in places. In a few places the dreads started really thin and then they've joined together, which I've allowed to happen in a few places, because I don't want the dreads to be too thin. Unless they really want to be thin, then I'll just let them. But I like to have a few chunky ones, but not too chunky. Not too chunky. I do separate them. That's the only maintenance I do on my hair, really. And that's only just so that I can get to the roots everywhere, and so I can wash it. So I just sort of separate them out with my hands like that. I'd say, yeah, the first two dreadlocks that joined together in a little Congo is this one here. That's quite funny. Yeah, it's like having a head that's covered in pets, really. It's because they all like sort of develop their own little personalities and do their own little things. Some of them kind of go all wiggly, and some of them have got little bits that join on little side bits. I did have braids in my hair early last year, and the dreadlocks sort of started growing at the roots of the braids. So when I took the braids out, I just thought, well, I'll just let my hair dread, because there was no way I was going to get the knots out. So I've just decided to let it dread, and there were a few twist and rip-ish dreads underneath, which I've just left because they seem happy enough, so I just left those. But yeah, these ones on the top, I've just done the same. I've just left them to do what they want. It's interesting because like the knots sort of in my hair, I don't know, everybody's hair might be different. In my hair, the knots sort of form at the roots, and then gradually the wind or whatever it is, the breeze, it sort of starts to lock further and further down, like that. Some of them are really bendy, and some of them have kind of gone flat, which is kind of funny. Little mini rugs, I suppose. Like that one. There's a really wiggly one. Yeah, that one's very wiggly indeed. That one. very wiggly. I've sort of got this loopy thing going on. No, the hair isn't all locked at the ends, it's just like hair at the ends, but it's locking quite a long way down, the bits of hair, especially at the back where I've been sleeping on it. You can't really see those on my back. These ones really feel like felt right up to the roots. It feels like felt's coming out the back of my head. It's very different to the ones which are just starting to lock. I suppose they're kind of maturing. Of course, those ones of some of them have been in about 9 months rather than 6 months. So some of them are kind of maturing, I guess, or at least they are at the roots, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not trying to force these in any way. I'm just wanting them to just form by themselves. I think it'll be sort of stronger, perhaps, if they form by themselves. Yeah, there's a one. Sort of got a mirror here so I can show you. There's a really, really crazy one around here somewhere. It's one of my favourites because it's just so crazy. It's not that one. Yeah, that one's really quite mad. They sort of get thicker at the roots as the hair kind of bunches back up close to the head. See, I separate them like this. I just do that. That's as much maintenance. That's the really crazy one. You can see, look at that, isn't it bizarre? I had one that was like that. The first ones I had actually was a wiggly one that was kind of like that, but that's really shrunk. This bit of hair here used to be down to here, and it's just shrunk to maybe, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches. Tiny compared to the length that it used to be. Got odd little ones like that one's got this funny little solid loop where it just spirals around itself like a little spirally thing. I quite like that. They've all got their own little quirks. I don't know, they might all start growing like cylinders one day, so I'm just enjoying this stage of this dreadlock journey as I am. That was 2 that joined together. They're 2 very thin bits, and then they formed this really quite chunky lock there. There's another chunky lock formed on this side. There's about 3 joined together to form it. But I'm not discouraging those 2. I mean, if it was all sticking together in one big long, like, dread bed, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably panic because I don't want it to be like that, because I'd like to be able to scratch my head and get my hands in and wash it and things. That would make me panic. What am I washing it with? Lush do quite a nice solid shampoo called Scenic, which I keep calling Sea-Link, but that's an old ferry company which doesn't exist anymore. Scenic. It's quite nice. It's blue, bright blue. And things like some stuff with like coconut, natural dreadlock shampoo bars with coconut in, sort of alternate between them, and occasionally put bath bombs in it as well to really fizz the roots clean. Yeah, it's quite fun actually to do. Yeah, there's sort of this here. That was the first one that I got, and that's really quite mature now. The roots, that's not coming out anytime soon. And then that one's really quite lumpy. It's very strange how they go different. Yeah, I'm not going to crochet hook these. I'm just going to let them just be. and get longer. I'm not fussed if the ends of them don't actually dread, because I want them to be natural. I'm sort of thinking now. I was sort of thinking, oh, I wish the ends would dread a bit better. I mean, they might yet. I don't know. But I was sort of thinking, if the ends don't dread, it's kind of more like a tree trunk, and then branches, and then thinner branches. It's almost like each one's like a little tree, and that's kind of nice. You know. So yeah, I'm just sticking with them really. So that's like 6 months. It's amazing how much they have locked up in 6 months. It's going to be more of these videos. I'm probably going to have big long locks one day. I don't know. Probably because it's very unlikely that I'm going to chop my hair off. I'm just going to let it grow. I don't know. I might dye 1 or 2 of these at some point in the future, or I might dye, if these bits of hair at the front don't lock. I don't think they're going to, because they're just not wanting to like the rest. They're just sort of staying like hair, really. I don't know, I might dye these a different colour or something in the future. I know I might be grey by then, you know, I might have grey hair. Probably got a few, just twinkling, but nothing much. Yeah. Yeah, I think these all work. Very nicely. Yeah. That's about as much as I can say, really. Okay, thanks for watching.